Aloha. My name is Scott Katsura. I was born and raised in Honolulu, Hawaii.
He lives in Manhattan, and the title track of his current album, Supernatural, is #1 in England. But local boy
Giving
Scott
back to
Allen
their
is in
community,
Hawaii.
but few give back the way Scott Allen has. The local boy who made his mark on the international music scene came back home to Hawaii.
Especially
to
for a
series
kid out of
inspiration.
Aiea with dreams of the Big Apple.
But Scott Allen has survived 11 years in the big league, as we see on tonight's
Say,
Mixed
give me an
Plate.
advice, what would you say? And I say it's staying power, it's tenacity, it's being able to continue to survive and pick yourself up over and over again, and hopefully live to see a day like this where, you know, my dream came true tonight.
As I traveled around the world with my music, doing concerts and appearances, I would frequently get invited by schools and students that wanted me to come and speak to them. And time again, when I would visit these schools and interact with students, I found myself getting more inspired by the things I was learning and feeling in these schools with these students than I was even feeling with my own concerts and my music. So it's not that my music and my concerts were not important, but I just found that students in schools and the things that I was learning with them and from them, and the things that they were learning from me too, began to take a precedence over everything else that was going on in my life.
Personal interviews is a big part of my career. Every time they ask me that question in the spotlight, what means the most to you, Scott? What is your ultimate goal in life? My answer would always be, I want to help people. I'd like to live my life with purpose, with hopes of adding significant meaning to the lives of others. When I can shine a light upon them, helping them to unlock their greatest potentials, then I've done my job. My music career has somehow led me to inspire children in schools around the globe, and that is where I choose to scatter these seeds of aloha. And when I make that special connection with the student, I am overjoyed.
We're grateful for the gift of Scott's message and his music.
It was good. It was good. It was like strong. He inspired me to reach for my goals and to never let down and to never
came down
give
and
up.
talked to his alma mater, and I felt pleased at what he said and what he sang to us.
We love him.
And I love them so much too. And I assure them, it's not about what you have. It's always about who you are.
I think kids today look up to singers and actors and athletes, and they aspire to achieve that great success because of all the things that they can get when they're there. So I think it's really important for kids to know that it's more important about what it takes to get there and the realities of the things you deal with when you do succeed on any level. I just hope that, you know, as someone that is interacting with kids around the world, that I can let them know the reality of the things that, you know, really allowed me to excel in my life. And I only hope to help these kids find their own gifts within themselves so they too can shine bright in this world when they go out there and pursue their dreams.
Sometimes it's hard to break the stereotypes that the entertainment industry has so firmly established. Whether they saw me as an actor playing a particular role on television, or they saw me standing next to a big star in the movies, I've never felt uncomfortable when dealing with the public's perception of me. Although, I've always felt a quiet feeling of uneasiness as stardom has a way of placing you on a pedestal. It's as though you're more important than most others, and I've never been fascinated with talking about myself, as I'm always more interested in learning about someone else, especially my loyal fans. I guess me being from Hawaii too, we're all the same over there. We have no majorities that rule us. We are all minorities living peacefully side by side, sharing our space of paradise in true equality. To us, it's living with aloha spirit while standing together as one big ohana, one loving family. If you have aloha, then you're in our circle, and if you don't, then you'll feel like a fish out of water.
I look at the priorities and the things that we strive for today in life and the things that we teach one another. And it's all about designer labels and, you know, having a nice big home and driving a nice expensive car. So, you know, I really want to show kids that it's not, you know, the designer label that makes you somebody. It's you being somebody wearing that designer label. It's not about the car and the home that you live in. You know, it's really about the people that you surround yourself with and the quality of life that you are consciously aware about as you live your life each and every day.
I've never burdened myself in trying to live up to the images that people see on my CDs or any other type of publicity materials. When I meet anyone in person, my attitude is, what you see is what you get. How I physically look to them is not important to me. My only concern is how I make them feel on the inside, and I always hope it's a real good feeling.
I find that students are so receptive and open to me, and I'm very effective with them because I'm not afraid to be vulnerable and to show them my honest feelings. I'm not ashamed of telling them about all the mistakes that I've made. So, you know, whenever I show up, I tell them, you know, I'm not here to show off and to tell you, look at what I've done and look at everything that I've achieved. I'm really here to tell you that I'm probably the most unlikely person that should be where I'm standing. And it's really all about the choices that I've made and learning from the mistakes that I've made. So when I show up at schools, you know, my main objective is to show them and to tell them that you too can, you know, make the right choices, and no matter where you come from and who you are and what you don't have, you can still make something of your life, because everybody's got a gift and everybody has something that they can bring to the world.
The truth is, I've made so many mistakes in my life journey. I tell the kids, I was the typical stereotype of being a middle child. I was the black sheep rebel. I was the only boy between two sisters. I was born left-handed in a right-handed world. I'm multicultural with Asian, Caucasian, Latin, and Polynesian in my blood, so I've always felt like an outsider who never belonged to any one particular culture. I didn't grow up as the typical boy who would hide their feelings and emotions. For me, I showed my sensitivity, so I frequently got ridiculed for being a weak person. I wasn't afraid to speak my mind when I needed to, so I often got accused of being arrogant or self-righteous. I always stood up for the underdog that others would pounce on and make fun of, so I too had my share of being bullied and chased home from school. Even worse than the feeling of never fitting in, it was that unshakable feeling that something must be wrong with me, that I was born a mistake. I hated myself, I hated my life, and I always wished that I was somebody else. And that is when my love for music began. My favorite songs became my best friends. I would listen to the words that expressed all the feelings that lived deep inside of my heart. And one day I woke up with the revelation that I too will become a singer and songwriter that could possibly touch the heart of someone else who could be feeling just like me. So I got more comfortable walking in my own skin as life moved ahead, but I still felt a bit awkward when cameras flashed in public. Wherever I go and whomever I am speaking with, I always find a way to make that point about the common thread that ties us all together. No matter what country I am visiting or what language they are speaking, people always seem to understand what I am saying, and I can feel the aloha spirit being exchanged within our hearts. In interviews, they ask me, what should we expect to see at your concerts? I tell them, more than my music, my singing, or my dancing, my only hope is that my audience leaves the venue with that feeling of my aloha spirit. Singing a song for a few minutes, performing a concert for a few hours will soon be over, but the spirit of aloha will never end. And when the show is over and I'm on to the next destination, I can literally feel the aloha that was planted into the people and the place that I just left. It's always hard saying goodbye after such a good time. The city gives me energy. When I'm back in Manhattan, I always contemplate about my world travels. It always takes me back to my own childhood, and then I think about all the kids out there that I'd like to help and encourage, telling them, if I knew then what I know now, my priorities would be different. It was Teddy Roosevelt who said, "To teach in mind but not in morals is to create a menace to society." So I think today, our job in our schools is not just to make kids smart, but to make them good people. And there are so many corrosive aspects in our society that it becomes more important now than ever to make sure that our young people receive character education. It's about instilling these timeless values that will not only sustain them throughout their lifetime, but will allow them to live an extraordinary life in their own special way. I have met thousands of students that really care about living a bright future.
A lot of times, I think students get mixed up with the difference between ego and having true self-esteem. And I make it easy for them. I just say, listen, when it's about me, myself, and I, when it's about you trying to prove or show somebody how important you are, and you're trying to show everybody what you're worth and what you got and what you own, that's ego. But true self-esteem is when you really know that you've got good character, you've got fine qualities about yourself, you live with a good conduct, and it's not all about me, myself, and I. It's about helping others and knowing how you can, help lift someone else up, and how you can really make this world a better place, and sharing the things that can make people happy. So I really feel that when it comes to ego and self-esteem, I really try to emphasize and bring out in kids the self-esteem that will make them shine.
I've traveled around the globe a few times over. I've met so many good and wonderful people from all cultures and races, of all ages, so many amazing people who've shown me such goodness of life. Although, as I am not a biased person at all, I find that the people of Hawaii, our local culture, is truly one of a kind. In Hawaii, I find that we are naturally open-hearted with transparency. We're beyond generous in giving, as us locals take food off our own plates so we can share with someone else. We show a deep-seated respect for all generations. We honor each other with an abundance of appreciation and consideration for our neighbors, our ohana, and friends. We even treat strangers like our own family. We are genuinely more happy giving than in taking. In fact, lots of us locals are ashamed to take anything in return for what we give to others. I have concluded that when the pure aloha spirit is put into living action, that in itself is the epitome of good character. Our ancestors taught us dignity. They passed it on to us from generation to generation. All the important things in life that will never go out of style and will never become irrelevant to mankind. That is why I'm doing what I'm doing for our children of the world. We don't want them to miss out on all the beautiful things that make life worth living for. Yes, smartphones, computers, and the latest gadgets can make life more efficient and beneficial, but it will never replace the intimacy of quality time that we can share together face to face. Electronics will never be as heartfelt as the human touch. All the money, status, and power in the world is not enough to prepare someone who will someday lose his mother or father or a loved one who will pass on to the other side. As most children today do not play outdoors, video games and going to the movies will entertain them until the next best thing comes along. But nothing will ever compare to feeling the warmth of sunshine all over their body, running barefoot in the sand, jumping into a beautiful ocean, watching a magnificent sunrise or sunset, giving belly rubs and kisses to their family pet members, or simply hugging the people they love, who are hugging them right back with passionate feeling as much as theirs. No matter how old we are, everyone is a student of the world, and if the spirit of aloha is real and given with pure sincerity, then I know people from all corners of the earth, from all walks of life, will open their hearts to one another. Then we will share this glorious planet as one true family, as one extraordinary human race. With all that's going on in the world right now, I think our planet Earth could surely use some aloha spirit. There's no place like home, being with my ohana and loved ones, indulging in all our scrumptiously Ono Island treats, the sunshine, the relaxation, the feeling of oneness with our Creator, the comfort and security of being surrounded by so many others who understand what I'm feeling and knowing exactly where I'm coming from. It's the greatest gift that I've been given. and the greatest gift that I have to offer. It's true. Home is where aloha lives, and I hope it's everywhere I go.
I think with my book, I'm writing my own story. More than anything, I think I'd like children to realize how we are so much more alike than we are different. And I'd like them to be empowered with the idea that, it's not about trying so hard to fit in as much as it's not being afraid of standing out and to embrace their own fingerprint, their own uniqueness, that will bring them the goodness and all the prosperity that they are destined to live.
To me, Hawaii is more than a country. Hawaii is our own little planet, our paradise on earth. Aloha. Hawaii, my Hawaii. Feel the magic of the islands, from the people of the islands. Feel the magic of the islands, from the people of the islands. Feel the magic of the islands. Ua mau ke ea, o ka aina, i ka pono, aloha.